Happy Labor Day, everybody. It's Monday, September 6th, right after Fox Raceway Pala number 2, second to last round of the outdoor AMA Motocross Series, Lucas Oil Series. I'm just going to do a quick show today. Even it's Labor Day, Doug's busy, I'm dead. Um, but we had some, a couple things that I figured would be worth getting a show out there to talk about this week. Touch on some of the highlights. Uh, just do something quick, say hey, and then we'll be back next week. We'll go over a little bit more in detail what happened this weekend, and then obviously there's some stuff in the 250 championship that's going to play out next weekend. We'll get a 250 championship winner, and certain things from this week might end up playing a big factor into that. So we'll just get into it, touch on what happened this weekend, and who knows, I might end up rambling a little bit longer than I was expecting. But let's first we'll just do a quick one for our partners that help us put all this stuff together. We got Bro Taco Hot Sauce over at brotacofoods.com. Use that code PTT for 20% off. I think there's still some Radberry. When I looked on the site the other day, I put a little bit of brap sauce on my dinner tonight. Use it on pretty much everything possible. I took it and put it on my calzone while I was watching the races Saturday night. Shit's good. Definitely should go check it out. Get you some if you can. Let me think. Yeah. And yeah, he had his little Get Sauced Fest celebration of being an official company this weekend. Looked like they had a good time. Go over there, follow him on Instagram. Check out some of his fun videos from this past weekend. And then we got Sunstar Sprockets and Chains over at sunstar-braking.com. Use the code PTTG30 during checkout to get 30% off your order. You can go over there, get, like it says, any sprockets and chains, a lot of the stuff you need for the drive components on your bike to put the power to the ground, as some might say. I noticed they used that, I think, a couple times during the broadcast this weekend, and I chuckled. Go check them out. Send Doug an email if you got questions about what's best for your bike, brake, chain combo, any of that stuff, and he'll get you hooked up. Of course, you can go check us out at power2theground.com. So it's that where we got pick'ems for the weekend. I've yet to do the math on that. I will do that tonight or tomorrow night and get that put up so we see who's going to win that when we get into the last round for our fantasy game that follows each of the series. You go over there, you can get signed up for the end of the lifetime membership for the Jubba Club. It ends on September 11th, which is this coming Saturday, the day of the final round of the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship. And then we've got our inaugural party, I believe, on the 25th is the date last time I checked. So go over there, check it out, say hello, shoot us a message, and get the link to our Discord channel where we're on there sharing videos, having conversations about stuff all the time. And then last but not least is the magic behind this show is Nova Pro Media. They're help us out with our website, Bro Taco website. They built that too. And if you got a small business and need some help with website, email, social media, all the internet fun stuff, go over there and hook them up, check them out, say hello. If you got any questions about what they can or can't do, shoot them a line. They'll tell you. All right, so we will get into it. I think we'll go backwards this week. We'll start with the fun stuff. After the 450s this weekend, we're celebrating a new 450 winner with a championship winner. Dylan Ferrandis has officially locked up the 450 championship this weekend. He could not ride next weekend if he doesn't want to, or if something happens, he gets sick, knock on wood, this week. He could not ride, and he's got the championship under the belt. They did their celebrations this weekend, and he's good to go in. He's pumped. He deserved it. He's been better than everybody over the course of the entire season. Well, not even a full season yet. Enough to be more consistent before the end of the season has given him the championship. No one else could take it from him this summer. The beauty about a championship is you got to be there for all 12 rounds, all 24 motos to get it. There may have been some weekends where he didn't have it for Tomac or he didn't have it for Kenny. Doesn't matter about those weekends. What matters is he was the most consistent over the course of the 20 motos we've had so far, the 11 rounds we've had so far, and he's bringing home the championship, and he deserves it. So he's first French rider in 30 years to take home the championship. First rookie since I think Dunge was the last one on a 450 to bring a championship. I think Kenny did it, maybe. I know Dunge was the most recent one to take home a 450 outdoor championship in their rookie year. So congratulations to Dylan. But what led up to it this weekend was, I have to say, up front in both the motos, the 450 stuff wasn't the most exciting to watch. It was interesting. You had moments at the beginning of each moto thinking, because where we were leading up to this was that if Kenny finished in front of Dylan by 1 point over the course of both motos, ideally finishes in front of Dylan both motos. But if they left this weekend with Kenny scoring one more point than Dylan over the course of both motos, the championship technically could not be decided until the end of next round. At the beginning of each moto, so moto 1, Roxon gets the whole shot. He's out front. And then it wasn't too long after that before he gets around him. Dylan ends up winning the first moto. And so, that's a little bit of a downside there. You had that moment of excitement where you're thinking, Kenny could possibly get it, could hold him off. Could just be something exciting to kind of give one more week of suspense of who knows who's going to go. Kenny gets up front, and then doesn't take long. Dylan gets around him, and then it just kind of ends the excitement for that moto. There wasn't a whole lot else going on. Eli had a 6th place start. He did charge up to second, but not to discredit any of the guys between 6th and 2nd at this point in the series, but Tomac getting around these guys with the performance he's showing lately is not that big of a surprise. It is what it is. Anstey had a good start. He got around Anstey, but it was there. Ferrandis did make a charge too. He was also in 5th, kind of going around the corner. He had to get around Webb because Webb had a good start. But it wasn't that big of a deal. And then after that, there was some excitement stuff. A little bit further back, because let's see, we had Ferrandis was first in the first moto, Tomac was second, Roxon was third, Webb was 4th, Christian Craig was in 5th, Anstey was 6th, Shaq was in 7th. Justin Bogle was in 8th, Savachi 9th, Hartranft 10th. I mean, so that was pretty exciting for some of those guys. They showed up. They braved the heat. There were other guys that are obviously out. Marv's out. Sexton's out. Marv's, I think, still dealing with COVID, whether he got sick or is just tested positive. Sexton came out this week. He's got an enlarged spleen, whatever that means. So he's dealing with that. So, they went out. The weather was horrendous this weekend. It was hot. Some of these guys, Honda knew Kenny didn't need to be on the podium and do an interview, even though he got 3rd in the first moto, because he just, right there at the end of the first moto, he just kind of started falling back like a rock, and they called him. They're like, he's not coming for an interview. He's going straight to the truck. They hadn't even talked to him yet, and he was still out there on the track. And so he and Tomac just went straight back, skipped the interviews to cool off. And the weather was a big theme for this weekend. Second moto, Webb gets the whole shot. Ferrandis technically is kind of credited with a 1st place start because he gets around is Webb, Roxon, Dylan Ferrandis in 3rd. So then you wonder, like, can Roxon hold him off? Get this exciting something here. But it pretty quickly, Roxon gets around Webb, and then Dylan gets around him, and after that, Dylan's just got to stay in front of Roxon. Tomac, he gets a. Let's see, he had No, Tomac had a fifth place start in this moto. For some reason, I said fifth place for Ferrandis in the first moto. Ferrandis had a third place start in the first moto. Tomac's start in the second moto was fifth, so he's back there, but he goes all the way up to first. He passes Kenny, Webb, Roxon, or Kenny is Roxon. Roxon, I told you guys I was tired. Roxon, Webb, Ferrandis gets up to first, wins the second moto. He technically wins the overall for the weekend, even though he ties with points for Ferrandis. And that was kind of it. Again, there was some shuffling around in the back. Some of the other guys got really good finishes. You had Craig in fourth for a fifth overall. Roxon fell back to sixth. Webb gets a overall podium and a moto podium for the weekend. We had Anstey finished fifth for a sixth overall. I think I said Craig gets fourth for a fifth overall. Cody Schock goes 7-7 for a seventh overall. Hartranth goes 10-8 for an eighth overall. Savashi gets 9-9 for ninth. Freddie Noren comes out this weekend and kills it with 11-10 for 10 overall. So, that was pretty exciting for those guys to come out there and get that. But yeah, it wasn't a whole lot of action going on in there. I mean, the big implication was Ferrandis winning the championship. Let's see. Code. What do we got? Schock was supposed to be riding for Puerto Rico for donations. I know there's been a lot of talk this week about kind of the deal to get into Italy, because it's not so much of, obviously Team USA has announced they're not going to the nations, but Puerto Rico's technically its own thing. I think the complications there is how complicated it is to get into Italy for any of the teams. And while I think Schock would love to ride for Puerto Rico, I just don't know if they've got the whole thing set up to be able to be prepared to get to Italy, and then everything dealing with the quarantines. If you get there and you test negative, you test negative while you're there, try to get out. I think they covered that in the review show, just talking about a whole lot of the deal with getting in and out of Italy if the team is going to go. I'd love to see him go. I think that'd be pretty exciting to see a Puerto Rico team get put together, successfully get over there and race while Team USA didn't. I don't know. It'd be pretty exciting for him. He's killing it. And then on the note of Cody Schock is that was it last week? He was saying that, oh yeah, I'm coming back for the same team next year. Then all of a sudden, after he gets done saying that, middle of the week, he gets a call. That team is officially, folding for the season, like Mike said, or for next season. I don't think the team's come out and made a statement yet that I've seen, but I think it's pretty common news out in the circles and the media now that Michael Lindsay's team is not going to be around next year, or at least if they're going to be around, not in anything like the capacity they have. And long story short, Cody Schock doesn't have a ride there. I think there was some talk that Mathis said he got a tip that he might be going to PC already. That might be settled, which would be kind of neat. I don't know. We'll just have to see. There's a lot up in the air that could go for him. Cody said he wants to ride 250s still in Supercross instead of 450s. So we'll see what happens. I don't know the status of the contract on everybody on the PC team and how many people that could end up being there, but just have to kind of see how that works. And to Coda's point, if he was riding FXR, I don't know. I don't think I'm on the side of contracts matter, but also at the same time, with this being between motocross and supercross, that if he's got a contract, I think FXR would rather potentially be a brand. I'm not talking about I'll be a little bit more strict when it comes to, contracts giving their stuff up for fill-in rides for the weekend. It's a little different, especially when you got to do whole gear swaps for a weekend and everything. Contracts are a little bit more complicated, and that just switch for a weekend when you got so many vendors and companies involved. But let's say Cody signed a 2-year deal with FXR. He's in year 1 now. This is all examples. They have months to figure this out to where FXR could say, you know what, we can't. Or Mitch is like, hey, come to PC. FXR is like, well, we got a deal. They can't work something out there because of the whole Fox thing with PC. Maybe FXR is just like, hey, you know what? We're going to do the right thing. We're just going to let Cody out because we know we're not going to keep him from getting what could be a career changing ride by holding him into this contract over the course of the big offseason where they got months to talk about it and figure it out. Who knows? Maybe the FXR thing is a tie for him and he wants to keep working with them and he'll only go to a team that let him stay in FXR. I don't know. We'll just have to see. It'll be an interesting offseason in the silly season regards for sure. But let's jump over into the 250s. So we'll just bring up the championship point standings for the 250s while we talk about this. 250s were a little bit more exciting. Obviously, this weekend, the real battle and the championship here for the 250s is between Jet and Justin Cooper. Jet came out with a really good weekend last weekend to take the points from Jay Coop being 3 ahead to then being 11 or 12 behind. Huge swing is, with only 2 rounds left to go. We knew Justin had to come out this weekend and win. Not necessarily win. He had to be better than Jet, and hopefully a lot better than Jet. Obviously, winning gives him the best points gap, but, you can only ask so much, right? Man, Jet 3 for 3 at Fox Raceway, even with this round being backwards. Kid loves it out there, which is surprising. I don't like this track that much. It is what it is, but I'm also not riding it. I'm sitting at home in the air conditioning now that they're riding in 100-degree heat like those guys were this weekend. But so Volan was doing pretty good. He gets a whole shot in the first moto again, just like they did when we were there earlier this year. Mosen was up front. Volan stayed up there for a little while. Cooper had a terrible shit start in the first moto. He was back in about 8th. Has to get up around RJ, Vries, Smota, Hunter Lawrence, all while Jet pretty much just got to get around Max Volan and to get up front and or in Moseman. But then, so he gets around Volan for a while. Moseman looks like he's out in the lead, well ahead, while Jet looks like he's having a hard time with Volan. Maybe he wasn't pushing that hard because it's hot. He sees that Justin Cooper's not right behind him. Maybe he's not worried. He figures, I just got to stay in front of him. And, so he might be just taking it easy, but who knows? Shimoda was doing good. He's battling to get around Volan for 3rd. Moseman falls down at one point. This kid, let me see. I got these lap times right here. Because he fell down. He was in 5th and then manages to... wrong class. I have all these backwards. I have all my lap time sheets backwards. He manages to get around, falls back to 5th, get back up to 2nd in the first moto. So let's see if we can look at his lap times here. Number 442. Yeah, he falls down. What was that? Lap 7. And then, he just keeps running faster lap times than a lot of the guys around him. While Jet's running 214, 211, 210, 212, 211. Moseman's running the same ones, just a little bit faster. And who was in the guys we had 2nd through 5th? Good. Shimoda. Yeah, he's running a little bit faster. While Shimoda was in one of the guys that got around him, he's running 213s. Moseman's just, he picks back up after his incident and kind of keeps going. A little bit faster. Right. Yeah, 213s, a little bit faster. Yeah, so yeah, it's kind of amazing. I did not think that after Mosman was being out for so long, how little he rode. His performance at Ironman was insane considering the weather. His performance this weekend was insane considering he was out for so long. Do that. Didn't seem like he was going to do back to back. I think he said his heart rate last weekend hit a 202 at one point. It's insane. Maybe he's some magical freak show that can Savage Jesus crush it in the heat. I don't know. To kind of have to see, because there was points early in the season when he was out one time, and I picked him in fantasy thinking he was going to come out and crush it, and he didn't, because he had just been out from an injury and he decided to come back. So I don't know what his deal is. Let me think. Let me look here. Some notables from Moto 1. We had Schwartz and Drake, around 10th on the 250s. Let's see, where did they end up? Because we had Schwartz, Derek Drake. Derek Drake ended up falling off because he just came back from heart surgery. If you would have thought that he was a smart pick for fantasy, like I did, don't ever pick a guy that just comes back from heart surgery for your fantasy on one of the hottest races of the year. It was a dumb idea. But he was doing good when he was out there. I'm not sure exactly what happened to him yet. I haven't gotten into it. Swords killed it. Kilroy on the Suzuki. Starting to be a fan of these Suzuki kids on the 250s. Kilroy finished 16th in the first moto and 11th in the second moto. He had... Did I do the math on him? No, I don't think he had the drive of the race. I think I figured out who did, and it wasn't him. No, he was close. Yeah, the Suzuki kids were doing good out there. Jay Coop managed to get back up to 5th in the first moto to finish, and that's not what he needed to do today. Not even the first moto. And when you're performing like that in the first moto, it's kind of hard to switch around and get to the second moto. Because there wasn't a whole lot going out there other than Jet managed to get out front in the beginning. Mosman was in second. Jay Coop was in third. After him, you had Hunter, Joshua Vries, Fortner, Fry, Shimoda, Brebula, Schwartz rounding out the top 10. There was a while where Vries and Fortner was one of the most exciting battles on the track. And then Jay Coop was catching up to Mosman for a little while, and they were right there, but he just couldn't do it. And then something happened after that, because Cooper actually did manage to finally catch up to Gunnar Mosman. I think he went down again in the second moto. I don't really remember. At this point, the races were a little bit of a snooze because Jet was clearly in front of Justin Cooper. It doesn't look like Mosman went down. It just looked like Cooper just stayed a little bit more consistent and faster than Mosman did. Ended up catching him, getting back around him. So we had that. So see, the second moto finishes where Jet was in first, Justin Cooper was in second, Joe Simoda finished third in the second moto. Mike Mosman finished fourth. So for our 250 overalls, we had Jet with a 1-1, Michael Mosman with a 2-4, Justin Cooper with a 5-2. Joe Schmoda was in fourth with a 4-3. It was real close. He was tied for third overall, but because Justin Cooper got the better second moto finish, he gets third overall. And Hunter Lawrence rounds out fifth with a 6-6 because RJ Hampshire did something, both in RJ, and got a 14th in the second moto. So right now where we are with the points is, let me swap my point sheets around. Jet Lawrence is in first place with a 464. Justin Cooper with a 441 overall, or 4 points. I'm dragging it, I guess. And then Hunter Lawrence third with 349. RJ with 327. And Jerry Martin's 307 and fifth still technically. But the key here is Joe Schmoda's in sixth with 300. So there is a chance mathematically that Joe Shimoda could get third in the championship. It's not going to happen because he'd have to win both of the final motos to get more than 50 points, and Hunter would have to not finish either of the motos. So it's basically slim. But Joe, if he finishes in his average finish position, he will take over fifth place in the championship from Jeremy Martin. But with RJ doing RJ things, Shimoda could almost grab fourth in the championship. I don't know if there's a payout factor of fourth versus fifth that's better for him as far as championship bonuses, but it's math, and that's how it could work out. So if we have 23 points, we got 23 points between Justin Cooper and Jet Lawrence, with Jet Lawrence leading at the moment. I'm pulling up some stuff to do some math here real fast. So if we have Jet, you are at 464. Jacob, this is live, exciting stuff, guys. If Jacob gets first, both motos, Jet gets second, both motos, that is not enough. If Jet gets third, both motos, not enough. Fourth, that is not enough. Fifth, that is not enough. Sixth, that is not enough. 7 is not enough. If Jacob goes 1-1 on the last round and Jet goes a mixture of 8-7 or 7-8, it's a tie at 491, but I don't remember what the championship tiebreaker is. I'll have to look that up and see. But the point is, Justin Cooper's going to have to turn it around completely, go 1-1 next weekend, and hope Jet has rounds like he did at Spring Creek and Spring Creek, he went 4-6 at Spring Creek. He got a 7th in the first moto at Washougal. At second round of Red Bud, he got 6th. And the first moto Southwick, he got 9th. That is 1, 2, 3, 4 motos out of all 20 so far that he's performed as bad as he needs to for Justin Cooper to have a chance at winning this. And that's the worst he's done all year. I've been thinking all week about looking into this more, and I was thinking there were more races like that he had bad, or more rounds where he'd had bad motos, and that we're going to put him into that situation, and looking at. But he's had, and Justin Cooper's only won 1, 2, 3 motos. The chances of this happening just are not what I thought they were going to look like when I've been thinking about this all week and all weekend. It's not playing in his favor. It's there. Something catastrophic could happen. Jet could finish first in a moto, and his let's see what that looks like. Let's see, finish first in moto. Jacob gets third, and then Jet gets 15th. Oh gosh. Well, that's not looking good. If Jet gets first in one moto and 20 in a second, Jacob gets third and first. Jet still wins by points. It's not looking good for Jacob. My championship money bet of Jacob beating Jet is probably long gone. Anyways, So that was some live fun math we got to do together. Appreciate you guys making your way through that. But that's where we are. We could see Jet winning his first full season. He didn't do a full season last year, I don't think. I can't. Yeah, I don't think he did a full season last year. But winning at least winning the first full 12 round season, so that could be exciting. It's not how I thought it was going to play out. Kind of not what I wanted to see play out. But I can't be can only be happy for the kid if that's the case. Just overall 250 mentionables worth talking about. Saw an interview with Kilroy, the brand new amateur Suzuki kid, talking about. I think he said this was the first round they gave him one of the real race motors in his bike. Mike, I think you're right. Moto wins, I think, might be the tiebreaker if there's a points tie. And in that case, Jet has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, Jet clearly wins if there's a championship points tie. So back to that point, yeah, Justin Cooper's going to have a spectacular weekend, and Jet's going to have to not have one for that to work out. But yeah, Kilroy was saying he got one of the special, kind of upgraded motors in his bike this weekend and was ecstatic about how that well was working out. And then just the same thing with all of them. Volan was talking about how hot it was. They all looked they all looked like they just got beat up in the heat. It was ridiculous. I think it was over 100 at one point that day out there while they were riding. And all the after race interviews that I've seen so far and listened to, it was the kind of the big factor, was especially for some of these younger guys that hadn't dealt with it a lot, just dealing with the heat. Man, this stuff will beat you out, especially when you're out there on the bike just going for it. And I looked at some photos from the track, man, because they did it backwards this week, right? So they kind of the way they redid the dirt, and when they were doing some of the prep, it brought up a bunch of rocks on different sides of the jumps that they normally wouldn't see. And there was one photo I saw of Volan coming down the backside of a jump, and it's just the gnarliest, huge, like baby head sized boulders, if not larger, sticking out of the dirt on the backside of these jumps. I just looked at it and I said, F that. I wouldn't be the slightest bit interested in going out there and pushing too hard on a day where it's over 100-degree heat, pushing it, hoping to God I don't land on the backside of one of those things because I was pushing too hard. It just props to these guys for being absolute badasses and going out there and doing what they're doing. So, we'll just have to give them props, and hopefully next weekend it'll be a little bit cooler. I don't know what the weather's normally like at Hangtown compared to Fox Raceway on the same time of year. Maybe it'll be different out there. Maybe it'll be a little bit cooler, and we'll get to see some cool battles between everybody else out there. If the championship's effectively wrapped up the way it is. Let's see, David. We got David Lee watching us on Facebook. Thank you for watching, sir. Says Cody's not doing donations now, but he's riding for Pro Circuit next year. You heard it here first. I did mention earlier that it sounded like he was riding for Pro Circuit, maybe. That was the talk of the mill. I had not heard yet that donations is not happening, or maybe are you saying that he's decided he's not riding for Puerto Rico if they do go, or if Puerto Rico's just not fielding together a team? I don't know, but I will definitely be following that to see. I think it would be pretty exciting to see him on Pro Circuit and get the full backing of Mitch and his team, because it looks like he's putting in the work. If he's on a team, not to give any discredit to Michael Lindsay and the team he's put together, but it's not a factory level team. And if you get a guy like Cody Schock that is gelling with the bike, even though he did say he would still like to stay on red, but he'll go wherever he said, as long as I get a bike, I'll ride for free. I'm pretty sure if Mitch is hooking him up with a ride, he's probably riding for a little bit better than free, and is definitely getting a bike. But if he's putting in those kind of results on a team like Michael Lindsay's team in the sport they have, that shows that kid's got work ethic. And I think Mitch can do everything else. If the kid's got the work ethic to put out there and put in the work, go out there, ride hard, has the skill, Mitch can elevate everything else. And the kid could be kind of putting in Shimoda level rides in Supercross this year, or the rides Joe's been able to do once he finally got his starts figured out in outdoor. We'll see, but I do hope the best for him. Back to 250s. I did see and you have to go watch this for yourself. I think it was the interview, the Swap Moto Live How Was Your Weekend interview with Justin Cooper. He outright admitted that the injury from his wreck from the magical deer that ran across the track at Washougal has left him with an injury that's been lingering. And he said, because of this injury, A, his hand is not doing well, and B, he's not been riding as much, and he's also been dealing with a sickness. So he really feels, he believes, this is what he said, he believes that his fitness has just fallen back off the pace, that first to fifth difference. I know these guys train at an elite level, and we'll never get the full details about, what their full training program on Monday through Friday looks like and what his training load is now. But being sick, not training enough, if he's not just not riding, that's one thing. But if he's not riding and he's not doing his normal Monday through Friday training, on top of being cold sickness or flu sickness, something like that, I could see, especially on a day like Ironman and a day like today, your fitness level is just all of a sudden not going to be there to make up that difference between first and third, or first and fourth, or first and fifth. That makes sense. I don't know. I think it's silly, but it's their decisions. I'm not out there racing. I'm out there making the decisions about what they're afraid of or how they're going to work. But he straight up said that he didn't want to say anything because he didn't want to have a weakness, for somebody to attack, which is that I think last week on the show, somebody here mentioned it, or I've heard it a couple times recently, but, they were saying it's an old school mindset of, somebody wouldn't want to show a weakness or saying that their knee was hurt or whatever, because they were afraid that one of the other guys on the track was going to take them out and aim for their knee in a corner, which was a real thing then, because that's how those guys rode. Nobody really rides like that anymore today. And so if Cooper's really thinking about that, then maybe he's thinking, I don't want to give Jet mental fuel for, oh yeah, he's weak, I better, really get it, take advantage of this while he's doing it. But also at the same time, if you're Justin Cooper and you've been out there, you were leading the championship, and then all of a sudden you're just not putting in the same quality rides you were doing before, you're going from seconds to third, seconds to third, seconds to thirds to fourth and fifth, like somebody's going to notice something's wrong anyways, especially after everyone saw you have a terrible wreck at Washougal. So it's like, I don't know. I'm not in his position. I can't make that call. I think it's kind of silly to say that, but he's still out there busting ass, trying really hard every weekend. So it is what it is. But yeah, you have to go watch that interview. But he was a little bit more open and honest about what he's been dealing with. And obviously at this point, it doesn't really matter so much, because when he got back from the race, they probably already gave him a debrief and was like, hey, that was fine, but next weekend you're going to have to go 1-1 and hope Jet gets 8th-7th or 8th next weekend for you to win this. So either way, I think Jet realized what was happening and took advantage of Justin Cooper not feeling well. So we'll just kind of have to see how it works out next weekend. Like I said, there's crazier things have happened for people. Not to curse Jet or anything, but he's still got to make it through the week this week. Not have practice accident, not get sick, not get COVID. Both of them had to go through and not get COVID, not test positive before the next race. So we'll see how it goes. But I think that's about it. I think I rambled for a little bit longer than I thought I was going to be able to go today with it. I'm not going to get into too much detail unless anybody else has got any questions or comments out there they want me to touch on. Let me see, for all you cool kids, watching. Let me see if I can find real fast. One. One thing earlier from Instagram. Here we go. Sharing on the screen now. Bam. Close down chat for a second. This is a picture from Swap Moto Live's Instagram of Volan coming down the backside of a jump. Look how huge those boulders and rocks are, or not boulders, but massive rocks are coming out of the face of that jump. That's sketchy as hell. Going down that hill. I'm not interested. Not interested. But props to those guys for going out there and killing it and pulling it off. Oh, that does remind me. One thing from this weekend I thought was pretty cool. They tried using the drone footage. Yes, the camera quality was not the best. I'm used to seeing, and this is where I'd like somebody's opinion if they're watching still. I'm used to those type of drones and how they have to move. And so when I see how fast they're moving and where the track layout's going, I was semi-able to expect when they were kind of going to turn, maybe not direction or like how far they were going to turn, but I was kind of expecting when they were going to go over the track versus turn with the corner, etc., and how they were going to follow the race. And so that part didn't throw me off so much. And the quality was like, I get it. If they're using that type of drone, maybe out there, transmission quality from the trucks or something, the drone, the camera quality they got for it, maybe it wasn't the best, but I enjoyed it. I thought the perspective of that particular track via a drone outweighed the camera quality that they had with it, because they got fairly close to the bikes sometimes. That drone pilot was somehow able to go below all. If you weren't paying attention, you wouldn't see it, but there were wires going across that track. It's not like there's trees out there or anything. There are power lines or telephone wires or something going across that track on power poles. And if you're not looking, for it around the track, you don't notice it. But that pilot was able to navigate above, or below those and not hit those every single time and go over and around the finish line. I thought it was a really sick perspective, especially like I was saying for that track too. We've got overhead shots. We've got the MX versus ATV track map stuff, to get the layout of the track, but it doesn't really show the perspective as much. And, like this weekend, they did the 180. They go up the hill, left over, down, left, back up over the hip where they go to the right before they go over those rollers. The camera shots before, when you're looking at it, the normal layout, they go up and to the left over the hip jump, right up the hill, around the top, come back down. It's hard to get a perspective of how tall that is and how big that hip jump is before, but with that drone footage, it was a different perspective of the elevation of that hill and the elevation change over those on the way to the rollers. And it was really exciting to get that continuous camera shot of up, over, down, left, up, and around, instead of having to kind of rely on that one camera where you see them go up and over and disappear, and then you get the other one, whatever. And so being able to follow one guy completely over multiple corners instead of having to kind of piece together views for it, I really appreciated and trumped whatever camera quality issues that some people were complaining about, or, they admitted to kind of not being as proud of. But I don't know. I liked it, and I hope that they get enough positive feedback from this that they want to invest in continuing to do this and bring it back. Iron Man was cool because they were able to get a helicopter out there and have that fairly high quality shot down, but it's still not quite the same thing as really being able to follow these guys over some of the big tabletops, over the doubles, or through that roller section after the hill in the corner. I don't know. I was excited about the drone footage. I think if it weren't for the drone footage this weekend, I probably would have turned off the race and just watched the highlights at some point, especially after I realized kind of or not paid as much of attention. I don't know. I like the drone. Mike said it didn't bother him. Mike liked the drone footage. I don't know. Let us know your thoughts. Anyways, I hope they do it. I thought that was pretty cool. But I think we need to go to. I did calculate our Sunstar driver of the race in the 450 class was Ben LeMay with 24 positions overall, and 250 was Levi Kitchen with 28. Take it or leave it on whether that means they sucked really bad at the starts or just congratulations to them for hauling ass in the heat and passing a lot of guys. I don't know. But they did it. And then my sauced it moment. Doug's sauced it moment was when he put his sauce on his dinner that he was eating tonight. Mine is they're in the middle of the desert. Forkner found the one fucking tree on the track and ran into it. I wasn't out there. I didn't do any better. But also, there's one tree on the track. Forkner found it. It was kind of funny. He had a decent weekend other than that, though, so I can't hate on him too much for it. He's been getting better. Let's see, what did he end up with? He ended up with 5th in the second moto, 15th in the first moto. 29th start, 15th. So he was making a drive anyways, but finding that tree did not help. It was just kind of funny. I don't know. Actually, we'll see. Is there a video of this thing? No. If I find a video of it later, I'll share it in Discord. Because it was just funny. You could see though when they had the camera shot pan out. Yeah, right. It's just so much talent. We don't know where it's going, Mike. Fortner has so much talent. You could see the camera shot was panned out. Something happened at the bottom of the hill because where this was is there's a hill. There's a tree on the interior of a 180 corner at the top of the hill, and as the camera shot's panning in and out, you can see Fortner's line from the bottom right of the screen. You have to look when it's showing the right side of the track too, because when it's just zooming in, it's hard to tell that if it's just a line in the dirt or whatever in the way the hill is. But when it's zoomed out all the way, you can see this line runs across the track and follows up off the track straight towards the tree. So something happened at the bottom of this hill as Fortner was coming off of it. And maybe he thought he was going to be able to bring it back onto the track, but he was hauling ass to have kept this trajectory aiming towards this tree, still made it all the way off the track, up the hill, into the tree. He must have had a shit case of whiskey throttle for that to work out the way he did. But I'll see if I can find a video of it. I know I was watching it on YouTube later. I don't know if it's on Instagram, but I'll try to find it and share it in Discord. Yeah, if you want to say it. But that was my sauced it moment. Other than that, that's all I got for today, guys. I appreciate you hanging out with me for this semi-short-ish show. We'll be back next week with Doug to talk about the whole series wrap-up for 250s. Get his opinion on the 450s. I will say, Francis, man, congrats to him. He looked whooped after the race, but still just genuinely excited that he got first. And I'm excited to see what he's able to do next year. And having him and Tomac in the 450s on the same team is going to be pretty exciting to kind of see what they can get figured out. So we'll give a quick rundown of our sponsors before we disappear for the night. Don't forget to go check out BroTacoHotSauce.com, BroTacoFoods.com, home of Bro Taco Hot Sauce. Use code PTTG for 20% off your order. Get you some of that brap sauce, guys. Signature power to the ground sauce. Shit is good. Sunstar Sprockets and Chains, sunstar-braking.com. Use code PTTG30 during checkout to get 30% off your order. Shoot them an email if you got questions about what the best chain and sprocket combo you need to run on your machine is. Doug will most likely be the one that answers that, and he will give you an answer about what you should be using. Power to number 2 theground.com, our website home, just does a good job keeping that looking spiffy and clean. Got pick'ems on there. Got Jug Club lifetime membership. Sign up for by 9/11. Go on there and check out all the details that you get for signing up for that, and you never have to pay again, but you get everything, including some upfront goodies. We'll have that going on, and because Jug Club, what it is basically we'll have a monthly kind of membership thing where we get some exclusive stuff, behind the scenes deals, or just extra things we decide to do on there. But if you pay for it now, the lifetime one time fee up front, you get everything forever. You don't have to worry about it again. So that's pretty cool. But then putting all that magic together is Nova Pro Media at novapro.media. Go check them out. Say hello. You got any questions about some internet technology, computer stuff, social media, emails, websites, newsletters, marketing you need, Nova Pro Media can hook you up with your small business needs. Go over there, shoot them a message. If you got an issue, if you got a question, think they might be able to help you out, shoot them a line. Jesse will most likely get back to you, tell you what he can do for you. So I'd like to give thanks to everybody there. If nobody else has got any other questions real fast, we'll wrap it up for tonight and say thank you for listening to me ramble with my poorly prepared notes from a long weekend. And we got one more round, ladies and gentlemen. Be exciting to kind of see the 250 wrap up, call it a day. We're going to go into this crazy off season and get ready for Supercross in January. Pretty pumped for that. Don't tell Doug, because motocross isn't over yet, and he said I don't know how to talk about it yet. But thanks for watching tonight, everybody. Hope you have a good night, and see you next week. Peace.